Yo, thank you for joining me. Remember to hydrate. This is my new, well, okay, I don't want to say like my new build because it's like not anything super special, but it has never been done before. So by that notion, it's new. It's an occultist scaling cold damage kinetic bolt with some of off meta uniques because I didn't want to use like explodey chest and int stack, so decided to go for a little bit more off meta. We're gonna run a Maze of the Minnow. I didn't roll it, so it's just it's just whatever. Um, let's put in actually let's put infused domination. Sure, why not? By the way, the build is not playable without the green kinetic bolt MTX. I think it's called Ghost Flame. Yes, Ghost Flame. Can't play the build without it. Does less damage. Confirmed. Alright, so we'll run a quick map. Might die. I'll talk about the defensive layers and the offensive layers after I run a map real quick. Also, I don't know if I can actually kill the boss. I don't know how good the boss damage is. I don't have cast without moving. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we are clearing the map. You can see the Occultist. I'm not going to pick up shrines because it will inflate my damage or defense. I don't want to artificially inflate for the video. But you see Occultist Profane Bloom kind of exploding out. I guess I'll do a Legion, why not? This is like one of the first maps I've actually ran on this character because I like just got it theory crafted and just made some of the gear I needed. We'll talk about budget later, but in short, it is a higher budget than if you played Ranger because Ranger gives you so many free stats. No matter which Ranger ascendancy you play, you get so many free stats. Like if you play Raider, you obviously get the like onslaught effect, which is just kind of juicy stats, and then Deadeye, you get free projectiles and Tailwind, which is essentially attack speed and movement speed. And then Pathfinder, you get like ailment immunity, etc. So you get a lot of free stats by playing Rangers. You don't get that many free stats playing Occultists, but we'll talk about what you do get in a second. I'm gonna drop a portal because there's 85% chance I die. I'm not saying this build is good, by the way. I'm not claiming the build is good, but it is pretty tanky actually, and it does decent damage. Should we do the ritual for the meme? Because okay, we'll do that for the meme, but I'm definitely gonna die because the minnow is gonna respawn in here and it's gonna be buffed up by the ritual. And and Shaper's here for some reason. Okay, we did it for the meme and we didn't die. We'll take the chromes. Always take the chromes. You don't even look at anything else. You just take the chromes. All right, so we'll talk about the build. And if I switch to scene view, whoa. That was crazy. We switched. Here's the POB. We do about 15 million DPS with decent gear. So let's talk about the defensive layers first because you're probably looking at my life pool. Can you see it? Yeah. My face cam isn't covering it, so you can see it. And you're like 3,500 Monka S, right? But actually, we're kind of giga tanky. The reason being is we'll start with the Occultist Ascendancy. You can apply additional curse, which is whatever. Oh, well, it's not whatever, it's really good, but that's not what gives us defense here. 15% increase your curse is pretty good, but enemies your curse have malediction, which means they deal 10% reduced damage, right? So we're always cursing on hit, so we're basically always taking 10% decreased damage. So that's just flat out 10% reduction, right? We can hexproof enemies, so even hexproof enemies are doing 10% less damage. We'll talk about these nodes later, but this node here, we have chill and freeze immunity. So we don't need to worry about chill or freeze on our flasks. We do 15% more cold damage, which is, pretty pog. Every 4 seconds, we're going to freeze or chill nearby unique or non-unique enemies. And then another 10% reduced damage comes in the form of nearby chilled enemies deal 10% reduced damage with hits. So it's not strictly 10% reduced damage, but it's 10% reduced damage with hits. So Shaper degen on the ground will do normal damage, right? But the balls, which are hits, will do 10% reduced. So If you averaged it out, say 50% of the game is AoE effects and 50% of the game is hits, then it's 5% reduced damage taken, right? We'll just average it out like that. So that's reduced damage taken. Now, I would like to have Wind Dancer, but I'm not high enough level yet. But another defensive layers here, we have Acro and Phase Acro. And that's pretty much it for the defensive layers on the tree. But as far as our gear goes, we're using a Yriel's frostering, and this is like, I actually wanted to make a build around this item for a long time because it's massively overpowered and no one know, like how does no one know about this item, by the way? Grants you level 20 summon Bestial Roa. So this Bestial Roa, he kind of just runs around and charges at people, but he has an aura around him. It's like 20 units, so it's like this circle that I'm drawing right now. He has an aura around him that inflicts Intimidate. So it doesn't say it on the item, and perhaps this is why people don't know that it's OP, but if you Google the skill, Summon Bestial Roa, he applies Intimidate, and what Intimidate does is it's a 10% damage multiplier to nearby enemies. So we just do 10% more damage, right, if our Roa is next to him, which he pretty much is. He follows us around quickly. Also, our Roa is maiming on hit. Or no, our projectile attacks have a 20% chance to maim on hit. Maim slows the, I think it's movement speed of enemies that we hit. So enemies are really slow due to being maimed. Also, we're chilling because we do mass amounts of cold damage. You see there, 17k cold damage. And we have Herald of Ice. And we have something on our tree gives us cold effect. What is it? Is it Snowforged? It's like effect of ailments or something like that. I don't know actually what it's called, but we have it somewhere. Oh yeah, it's here. So 10% increase effect of cold ailments. We could take this, but I found this to be a waste of points in all honesty. So we are chilling things, which is massively reducing its movement speed and action speed. And we are maiming things, which is reducing its movement speed. And we have a cast when damage taken temp chains, which is further reducing its action and attack speed. Now, the reason we can run temp chains is because we have that +1 curse on our tree, which means we can run temp chains, Elite Weakness, and Frostbite if we allocate Whispers of Doom. So we're triple cursing, with one of the curse being a defensive curse. You could replace this with, like, I don't know, vulnerability, because we do a little bit of fizz damage, or you can replace it with, like, despair. I don't know. You can replace it with something. But I like temp chains because things around us just get slowed when we get hit. So maim, temp chains, mass chill effect, Herald of Ice freezing chain, like chaining off shattering. Everything just can't move around us. Plus we have acro, plus we have decent evasion. By decent I mean like it exists, right? We don't have a lot, but it exists. We have 35% evasion. I would like to have Wind Dancer, which would be a huge help, but I'm just not high enough level yet. And then another defensive layer is we have a Mist Wall. It doesn't have to be replica, but what this does is it gives you evasion rating, movement speed, whatever. But we have plus 75% chance to block spell damage. So this is conditional though, because we have to have not blocked recently. But it's fine. We have very low block chance. We have, as you can see here, 24% block chance. But then acro reduces our block chance. 30% less chance to block, right? So we have a reduced chance to block, but then we have a plus 75% chance to block from our Mist Wall. So it's like a huge help. And if we have blocked, which is pretty much all the time because we have huge block chance every so often, then we get phasing. So it's either we have really high block chance or we have phasing. And with phasing, you're allowed to move through enemies, which allows you to kind of escape hitbox torture, like when you get stuck inside of enemies, you know? Or rubber banding happens sometimes when it's trying to figure out collision. But then we also get 12% chance to avoid physical damage from hits while phasing. So we're either mass block chance or phasing and avoiding fizz damage with Mist Wall. And the base evasion rating on this shield, for some reason, is just bonkers. 20% quality is 1100 evasion rating. I don't know, that seems like a lot to me. And then we get elusive on crit strike. This is guaranteed if you augment crit on slink boots, not slink boots, on redeemer boots. So as far as defensive layers, yes, and then we have Immortal Call. Yeah, so that's all of our defensive layers. So we're actually pretty tanky despite our low life pool. This is, I mean, if you wanted to be like better at the game than me, you could go a cluster jewel and get rid of like trash nodes and just stack fettles, right? But that's if you're a better player than me. I don't like cluster jewels. I really like abyss jewels. So I actually like I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like abyss jewels. What can I say? So I stack abyss jewels everywhere. Okay, now as far as why I wanted to play kinetic bolt, it got a buff this patch. This is kinetic bolt. It got a buff this patch where it scales spell damage slightly better, which means things like a good wand and spell damage elsewhere on your gear and on your tree kind of scales nicely. Also, well, no, that's pretty much it for as far as kinetic bolt goes. But I also wanted to play Occultist because you can easily transition into a self-curse setup with Headhunter and what are these called? Shackles of the Wretched, right? And then you just socket all this stuff in, and then I have an explodey chest that I use when I'm playing Headhunter style. You could also just swap Headhunter in like this, you know. I don't know. This feels like cheating using a Headhunter, so I usually only use it when I'm playing self-curse, like when I'm doing 100% delirium maps. So I just map with a Stygian Vice. Okay, what else? Also, pretty much the only reason I'm playing Occultist is Profane Bloom makes the most satisfying sound when you like kill a pack. It goes like, pew, you know. I really like that, and we're actually scaling this. A lot of builds don't scale this. A lot of builds play like Blade Vortex and they go Herald of Ash, and then they just use this as like auxiliary clear with their explodey chest to get a little bit more clear, right? But we're actually scaling chaos damage, sort of. So this deals a quarter of a monster's maximum life as chaos damage, and here a lot of occultists don't even take this node. It applies -20 to chaos res. So that means the explosions that we're nearby enemies to are going to deal more damage, and also on our wand we're taking cold as extra chaos, and you could get cold as extra chaos on a shield as well. And even just 7% cold as extra chaos is a lot of damage for clearing. So that is pretty PogChamp. And like I said, we get Intimidate, but also this chest is broken. I'm telling you, this is the most OP chest in the game. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to make a build around it. It gives you accuracy, evasion. You get 55%, you get like 60% crit if you divine it for projectile attacks. It just doesn't make any sense how broken this item is. Like, it has every stat we want: Intimidate, Maim, movement speed, attack speed, crit chance, accuracy, evasion. It goes up to 100 life. This chest piece is broken. It's OP. Like, it's actually broken, I think, for Kinetic Blast. It's just, or Kinetic Bolt, it's just broken. And then, another reason why I wanted to go cold damage is because Pandemonius is OP as well. Like, this item is just busted. 23% cold pen. You blind enemies on hit. That's another defensive layer that I didn't even think about. All enemies are chilled because of how much cold damage we do. We blind them on hit, so they have less accuracy, which means we are less likely to get hit. But they won't even get an attack off because they're permanently chilled, maimed, and frozen. They're just, nothing can move on our screen. Also we're scaling that chaos damage Profane Bloom with Itziri. So we have some Fizz, we have some Ellie, or we have lots of Ellie, but we have some Fizz, and we're scaling both of those. I am not sure if this chaos damage leached applies from this chaos damage. I'm not sure if a monster exploding dealing chaos counts as us doing the damage. So I'm not actually sure if we leech the explosions. Even if you did, it's not too big of a deal. And then I'm using 2 Crystal Hit Rings. So I'm using a Circle of Fear with Herald of Ice buff effects. This literally cost me 1x. I think I scammed the guy, but yeah. I have another one with Onslaught for like... Yeah, these aren't expensive for some reason. An on-hit Circle of Fear is not expensive. I don't know why. I feel like they should be. What else? What else did I want to talk about? I don't know. Let me just quickly look at the tree. Like I said earlier, I'm stacking Abyssals because I think they're broken. If we look at my damage, so like one Abyssal can give you 12 to 26 damage to attacks, 13 to 24 wand attacks, 26 life, 6% attack speed if you cure recently. I would say the power of this Abyssal is equal to 1 or 2 passive points. Like if I had 1 or 2 passive points for each Abyssal, I think I could reach the same amount of damage. So you see I go from like 90k to like 85, right? Just take 3 off, I go to 76. So whatever, I lost 18% of my damage, right? Or unless I'm bad at math. So each one of these is like a 5% damage boost. Kind of broken. 76 over 90. I lost 16%, right? So yeah. Should I run another map? I guess I'll run another map. In the next video, I'm gonna talk about how to self-farm your own headhunter in an ethical way, like actually ethical. Like you're actually like not cheesing the game. There's no huge investment. Just by playing the game, you can get a headhunter in less than a week if you're casual, 3 or 4 days if you actually play the game enough. Ooh, a delirium. Okay, we're definitely gonna die. I'm still testing out the build, but if you look closely, you know, if there's not massive bitrate lag from my projectile spam, if you look closely, monsters never actually get an attack off, and if I die, it's to ground effects, like things on the ground that I can't evade. Like that explosion would probably kill me, but just be a good player and not get hit. Kappa. See, I got stunned there. I kind of wish I had better stun immunity. Maybe I should get the enchant on my boots, the 80% chance to not get stunned, and then I could also get the Pantheon, and that'd be pretty much stun immune. I just haven't. I don't even know if I have my Pantheons on, actually. I have no idea. Oh, is this Kosis? Oh, we're so dead, dude. Big damage, big damage, big damage. Oh my god. Okay, we're doing a Legion, I guess. I have 3.5k life, and it's like a Guardian map with kind of juice. Oh my, yeah, this is kind of sketchy, actually. If I don't want to lose my XP, because I'm trying to get more passive points at the moment. But I guess you send it for the content. If I had a headhunter right now, by the way, I'd be flying around the screen with 10k ES at Mach 7. But I'm trying to be ethical in my build showcase. Because a build isn't really impressive if you use an explodey chest and a headhunter. In my opinion, at least a build showcase isn't. Like, it's okay if you play the game that way, but don't like pass off a build as like objectively good, you know? Oh, we're so dead here, by the way. Oh my god. If I do this, I'm actually just a better player than I thought. Please die. I'm just built different. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm portaling out. Cool, that was the build guide. I hope you like it. I actually like this a lot because it feels so natural. Like, the Profane Bloom is massive clear. This minus 20 cold res isn't an exposure. It's just a flat minus cold res, which means we can still go Wave of Conviction, and that's like double exposure stack with Pandemonious. With Frostbite, things have negative cold resistance. Like, straight up, normal monsters have negative cold res. Now, as far as bosses go, they obviously have reduced, they don't like take as much effect from your curses. But I mean, this helps a little bit, right? 15%. But I would say, like, if Cyrus has like 75% cold res, which he does, I think he's probably around 30% cold res left over after everything's factored in. If I get a shield with percent increased effective curses to 15%, he'd probably have about 20% cold resistance left after everything. Oh, I forgot to factor in Ellie weakness. He probably has like 10% cold res, which is really good. Yeah, as far as that, if anyone wants to buy my gear from my raider, I'm selling it because I'm probably just gonna play this for a little bit, see how it feels once I get level 100 or something. Next video, how to get a headhunter ethically. Okay, where's the stop recording button? Bye.